Hey, welcome in Occupy Democrats, and it is a UFC-level championship fight kind of Saturday between Donald Trump and one of MAGA's favorite blonde queens. And no, I am actually, for occasion, not discussing Pam Bondi or Caroline Lips Levitt. Nope. But in this breaking story, which you're not going to want to miss, we have typical Donald Trump doing what he always did in his life and his first term, going after those that used to be beloved by him because they don't continue to do everything he demands. I'll show it to you in a few seconds. You have to see him losing his mind about this. First, let's look at some video of what Donald says because it's his philosophy in life. This.
You know, some of the people that were most loyal to me are people that I didn't think would be.
But then watch what he says about Marjorie Taylor Greene here.
And somebody that I just think is fantastic. I never, ever want to have her as my enemy. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Where is she? She is so unbelievable. You are so unbelievable. Thank you.
Some of the people that were least loyal to me are people that I think I would have treated them differently. I think I would have treated different groups differently. I would have wiped the floor with the guys that weren't loyal, which I will now do, which is great. You know, I love getting even with people.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene echoed in the recent past exactly partly what the GOP ran on in 2024, which is release the files. This.
Everyone that voted for Trump Vance, everyone was like, release the Epstein files.
Right.
This is not even an argument. It's not even debatable. It's not being a traitor to the president to sign my name on a Thomas Massie discharge petition to release the Epstein files.
But then she doubled down even further, going to Capitol Hill with the victims and said this.
It's a scary thing to name names, but I will tell you, I'm not afraid to name names. And so if they want to give me a list, I will walk in that Capitol on the House floor and I'll say every damn name that abused these women. I can do that for them. And I'd be proud to do it. This is not about politics. And this is a boiling point in American history. There's become two Americas. There's the America for the rich and the powerful and the elite, where they never face any struggles or problems and never experience what real America goes through. And then there's forgotten America.
And because she has not let up in this breaking story, it leads Donald Trump to do what he always does. You know, I expect loyalty. To remind everyone, he believes this.
I would have wiped the floor with the guys that weren't loyal, which I will now do, which is great. You know, I love getting even with people.
So in this breaking story, look at Trump is going crazy. Look what he's just posting, and MAGA is going nuts because their queen from Georgia is getting railed on, and there's a catfight between her and Donald Trump. Here is the story.
Breaking news, in quotes, green grass turns brown when it begins to rot. Trump goes all out against top MAGA ally. President Donald Trump lashed out against Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican out of Georgia, on Saturday for having, in quotes, betrayed the entire Republican Party, picking up where he left off Friday after pulling his endorsement of Greene and turning on the prominent MAGA figure amid disputes over Jeffrey Epstein. In quotes, lightweight Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Brown, green grass turns brown when it begins to rot, betrayed the entire Republican Party when she turned left, performed poorly on the pathetic View, and became the rhino Republican in name only that we all know she always was, Trump wrote on his social media platform, Truth Social. In quotes, just another fake politician, no different than Rand Paul Jr., Thomas Massie, who got caught being a full-fledged Republican in name only, in all caps, make America great again. Greene has been among the loudest Republican voices in her calls for the Justice Department to release its trove of files on Epstein, the disgraced financier who died in 2019 awaiting trial on ex-trafficking charges and was well known for his deep ties to powerful figures, including Trump. And despite repeatedly supporting Trump, her insistence on the DOJ releasing its files on Epstein had formed a wedge between her and the president, a wedge that reached its breaking point Friday when Trump launched an all-out attack on a Republican lawmaker, calling her a ranting lunatic and encouraging a Georgian to run against her in the upcoming Republican primary election. Greene fired back, however, claiming Trump, quote, lied about me, and that it was her persistence on Epstein transparency that sent him over the edge. In quotes, it's astonishing how really hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out that he actually goes to this level, Greene wrote on social media Friday. And as you can see here, the Trump tweet that went out on social media, his platform, Truth Social, as well as what he also then posted today Marjorie Taylor Greene, misspelling her last name, is a disgrace to our great Republican Party in all caps.
Well, we know the old cliche, right? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And while I have severe, and I think many of you might, severe issues with many of the things that Marjorie Taylor Greene, aka MTG, has not only said, but also done in an effort to help Donald Trump and help the GOP, and denigrate Democrats and denigrate ideology and philosophy of this country in many, many ways. The bottom line is, on this particular issue, how ironic it would be if it winds up being, which it should be when it comes to the Epstein files, 4 women, many of whom I completely and wholeheartedly disagree with in terms of their actions, their words, actually be the reason the files finally get released. Let's see if they can stay strong, and let's see if they'll stand through all the way to the end against big old orange orangutan Donald Trump. You guys like and share the video, subscribe to the channel. Enjoy your weekend. Stay frosty.